Hey, this is Coach Justin demonstrating the flex warm-up. This is a relatively short but very effective warm-up that you can do. Requires no equipment, just a little bit of space around you and what we have with us all the time, which is gravity. So this takes about 5 minutes, and this is the perfect warm-up if you just got home from work and you need to head out on a quick run, or it's Saturday morning and you're about to head out into your bike ride, and once again you don't have a gym, a facility, any bands or anything like that. So just using what we have like this, here's the warm-up. We're gonna start with a few squats. So we'll start with arms across the chest, and I'm just gonna pretend like I'm sitting down into a chair. Do 5 of these. Most important thing about squats is keeping your heels flat. It's okay for the knees to go over the toes a little bit because that's actually a functional movement, but this is not okay. We're gonna do 5 of those, and then hands behind the head, and get 5 more. Putting the hands behind the head helps keep our back nice and straight and get a little bit of stretching through the spine. All right, we're gonna move from our squats into a hip flexor stretch, since 99.8% of the people I've ever worked with have tight hip flexors. So my left foot's forward, my right foot is back, my right knee is straight, my right toe is pointing forward, and I'm gonna reach overhead 5 times. From here, I'm gonna add rotation to it. Since we wanna work all 3 planes of motion, now we're getting into what we call the transverse plane. And I'll repeat that on the left side, and as I'm reaching overhead, I wanna drive my hips and this knee forward. Now, I mentioned that this knee is straight and this toe is forward. It's okay if this heel comes up a little bit. Once again, I'm gonna add that rotational movement, 5 reaches each direction. And as I said, most people have tight hip flexors, so if you notice that back toe start to creep out a little bit, like mine was, that means your hips are tight, so look down once in a while and correct that. All right, we're gonna go from a hip stretch to a groin stretch. Now my back foot's out at 90 degrees, and I'm gonna do those same drives. So this just targets the inner thigh a little bit more. Once again, adding the rotation, acting like I'm sitting down onto my left leg. And I'll repeat the groin stretch on the other side, starting with the overhead reaches. And then adding the rotational reaches. With the reaches, try to let your belly button follow your hand. So it's not just going here, it's trying to rotate your whole torso as much as you can. Go from the groin stretch into hamstring drives. Now I'm gonna sit down onto one leg, take my left hand, reach down to the right side, then take my right hand, reach to the opposite side. Might lose your balance a little bit, but that's okay. As we're working the lengthening of one leg, we're working a little bit of proprioception and strength in the other. So my back stays flat, regardless of how far down I can reach. Once again, 5 each. Once again, trying to let that belly button follow the hand. From the groin stretch, I go into IT band drive. So right foot crosses over left, stand up nice and tall like you're in between 2 walls, reach this way as you drive your hip in the opposite direction. We're gonna do 5 like this, and then I'm gonna bend both knees and squat as I reach. So that just changes, stretch here a little bit on that left IT band. All right, repeat that on the other side with straight leg, as well with both knees bent. You get a little squat into that. All right, from here we're gonna work our way up. Proper warm-up involves a toe to head stretch in all 3 planes of motion. So now we're gonna add just some easy twists. And if you want to add a little side to side here, feel free. What we're going to do from here is open up into an exaggerated running stride. And then I'm going to continue those twists and open up my hands. What this does, it gets a little more shoulder. Let's get about 5 of those to each side. And if you want to add the side to side to get the frontal plane, that's optional as well. So we'll get some of those twists here. And we're going to finish up with pendulum swings, which is a squat to an overhead reach. So I squat down, reach one hand up and back, squat, reach up and back, doing my best to keep my knees and my hips straight. So if you feel this stretch anywhere from your pinky down to your toe, you're doing it right. So if you feel it in the abs, the shoulder, or the hips, or the quads, any of those is acceptable. So that's a flex warm-up. Takes about 5 minutes, requires no equipment, and it's just a great way to get that toe to head dynamic warm-up before you head out to your workout.